This is KVUE News Midday.
Drama at the Capitol, the final moments of the 85th legislative session, explosive to say the least. So what got these lawmakers so fired up? A shakedown at the White House, who in the administration is leaving, and new questions about the Russia investigation.
Still a good amount of clouds out there, but we're tracking a couple isolated showers possible for today. Better chances by tomorrow and Thursday. More on that coming up.
See you in a bit. Thanks, Nathan. Good morning, everyone. I'm Terry Gruca. Thanks so much for joining us. Bad news for the folks in Wimberley again today. Overnight, a fire destroyed the Cypress Creek Cafe, the building, one of the oldest in the city, dating back to the 1930s. The owners of the cafe did escape safely, but this is what those flames did overnight. The building considered a total loss. The Wimberley Fire Department is expected to be on site most of the day stabilizing the building. We also have crews there because they're expecting an update from the sheriff, Gary Cutler, here in just a moment on what is expected later today. Again, the Cypress Creek Cafe, a very popular place for visitors to Wimberley and the people there in that community since the 1930s. A lot of live music and great food. We'll keep you updated on the situation right here on Midday. Well, Texas is the talk of the country this morning after things got physical in Austin on the last day of the legislative session. People had filled the state house protesting the new ban on sanctuary cities. Republican Representative Matt Rinaldi from Dallas County said he called immigration agents on those protesters, and that triggered a shoving match between Democrat and Republican lawmakers. Rinaldi threatened to, quote, put a bullet in the head of Democrat Poncho Navarez. Later on Facebook, Rinaldi admitted he made the threat, but only after Navarez threatened his life. We want to send you back now to Wimberley, where a press conference is being held to update the situation there on the Cypress Creek Cafe. Let's listen in.
We received reports of flames, a structure fire at the Wimberley Square. Fire department arrived at about 2:07, and when they arrived, they observed flames that were shooting out of the side windows in the alley of the Cypress Creek Cafe. They immediately called for mutual aid. South Hays Volunteer Fire Department, San Marcos Fire Department, North Hays Fire Department, and the Kyle Fire Department all responded to assist. They immediately started attacking the fire on the interior, but there was a loud explosion about 4 minutes while they were inside. They're not sure what the cause was, whether it was some type of gas leak, propane tank, but that explosion was large enough that forced them to retreat from the building and to set up a defensive posture where that's all they could do is try to knock the flames out. The owners, the husband and wife owners of the restaurant, they live on the second floor. Luckily, smoke detectors went off and they were able to evacuate the building. They tried to get their animals to come with them. I'm not sure why they didn't. They got spooked probably from all the smoke and the fire. They did lose their dog and 2 cats in this fire. The fire departments were finally able to contain the fire at about 4:30 this morning, and as you can see behind, the building's a total loss. Because of the concrete structure around, everything just kind of collapsed towards the middle. They're estimating the cause of damage up to about $750,000, and currently they're still investigating, see what the cause of the explosion and the cause of the fire was. We do know that the restaurant shut down at midnight last night, so it was a pretty short time between the time that they closed until we got the first report of the fire. So at this time, they're still trying to do what they call a mop-up and keeping the hot spots down. The Wimberley Square will be reopened very shortly, with the exception of the corner where the actual restaurant is at.
Can you talk much about Cypress Creek Cafe? I mean, this is a staple in the community. You know, just because you're a Hays County citizen, but can you talk a little bit about what this cafe means to the residents?
Oh, it's a very, very popular cafe. I believe the owners, if I'm mistaken, bought the restaurant about 8 years ago. And so this is a mainstay in Wimberley. It's a very tragic loss for everybody in the community. There's been lots of music events, crawfish boils. There's been just a lot of things that, you know, not only the citizens of Wimberley enjoyed, but also outsiders like myself that live in San Marcos. We come up here quite often. And so it is a big loss to the Wimberley community.
Have you been able to talk to the owners, or do you know if the fire staff has?
I talked to him personally, and he's extremely distraught, needless to say. And obviously, we're just asking everybody to, you know, give them some time. If you could, just let them go. They're very devastated, not only for the restaurant, but the loss of their pets as well.
Were there any other businesses that were affected by this, by the smoke, or
No, actually, none of the structures on either side suffered any damage whatsoever, and so they were able to do a pretty good cleanup. And like I said, they should be opening the square up pretty soon so that the other businesses can resume their normal business right now.
Which businesses are closed?
Again, you're listening to a live press conference there in Wimberley this morning on the Cypress Creek Cafe, which was destroyed by fire yesterday, early this morning. They said they got the call shortly after midnight. The restaurant shut down at midnight. The owners, Randy Uselton and his wife, lived on the second floor of that building. They managed to get out safely but could not save their dog and 2 cats. Firefighters tried to put those flames out, but something exploded while they were fighting that fire, and that forced them to back out. Again, the Cypress Creek Cafe devastated today by fire. This is a really tough situation for the folks in Wimberley because 2 years ago they dealt with a flooding situation there around the same time, around Memorial Day weekend, and so kind of brings back those memories again of all that that community there has had to deal with. This is a very popular place for both visitors and people in that community. That cafe opened since the 1930s. These owners owning it for the last 8 years. We'll continue to update the situation. They don't have a cause at this hour. We'll update you here and on KVUE.com. Let's get back to all of the talk about our lawmakers this morning. Senate Bill 4 did get the governor's signature, but a lot of other bills did not make it that far, including the so-called bathroom bill. Here to break down the 2017 legislative session is KVUE's Corey Coffin. She joins us live in the newsroom this morning. Corey?
Terry, good morning to you. The final day of this very active session ended sine die, which means lawmakers did not assign any other day to meet. But of course, that could change as the governor considers whether or not he'll be calling a special session. Now, there's only one bill the Texas legislature has to pass every session. We've talked about that before. It's the budget, which they did. In total, the House filed 4,333 bills, passed 654 of them. The Senate filed 2,298 and passed 485. So of the more than 6,600 bills filed, only 17% passed. One of the more controversial ones that failed, Senate Bill 6, also known as the bathroom bill. That legislation sought to require people use the restroom assigned to their sex at birth. Senate Bill 3 as well for private school choice also failed to pass, as did a bill seeking to overhaul the state school finance system and legislation legalizing medical marijuana in some instances. What did pass, though? A bill regulating transportation networking companies, ushering the way for Uber and Lyft back into Austin. We've been talking about that a lot recently, as well as a statewide texting while driving ban, stricter regulations of abortion, and child welfare reform. Now, those are all waiting for the governor's signature, and another highly anticipated bill, the Sandra Bland Act, is also awaiting the governor's signature. That regulates how deaths in jails are investigated and diverts people with mental health issues toward treatment. Terry, back to you.
Okay, lots to still cover. We appreciate it so much, Corey. I want to give you a live look over Austin. Looking kind of, I don't know, hazy maybe out there this morning because it's so warm. The sun is back out. I know a lot of folks excited about that. So let's take a look at what we are tracking with Storm Team Meteorologist Nathan Gogo. Are we going to see any rain today, Nathan?
Yeah, it's just an isolated shower. Most places should stay dry, but we can't rule out one shower sneaking through parts of central Texas as we head towards the afternoon. Yeah, it's a little bit hazy, a little bit muggy. Temperatures in the lower 80s will climb into the upper 80s by the end of this afternoon. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit warm and oppressive out there, but certainly not as warm and oppressive as it was this past weekend. Temperatures right around 80 degrees across the board, 70s in Blanco down towards Lockhart at 79, 83 in this city. We're looking at high temperatures right around 90 to the upper 80s by the end of this afternoon. Here's a look at radar. Things are quiet now. We do have a mix of sun and clouds. We widen the view. Showers and storm activity out to our west. A couple of those, again, may make it into central Texas. We'll take a look at that hour-by-hour forecast coming up, Terry.
See you then. Thanks, Nathan. Tensions rising as North Korea launches another missile test. The moves being made today by the U.S. An incredible video capturing a former prison going up in flames.